All right, we are back and we are about to pour this mold. And I've got the camera fixed where you can see the whole mold. That's good and clean. And then I've got the jewelry mold over here for any extra. So the extra will go in here. And I just always have the jewelry mold on standby because I don't like wasting any resin. It looks like I see something in here. So I always do a triple check to make sure it's nothing inside the mold that will mess up production. Because this is a set that will be sold. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get our pour on. You guys enjoy. I won't be doing I'm gonna keep talking a little bit. Okay, here we go. All right. So I try to pour all the way across the mold. Then I use the stick to go across and fill in the ones that did not get any resin. Because you have enough resin, it's a lot more resin than what it looks like. And you just push it, push it, push it. As you can see, once you push from one to the other one, it will easily shift over, and you just keep shifting until you fill them all in, because the resin is very generous and it will move around. You do have enough. You do have enough. You do have enough. You've just got to work it. So if you know you've measured correctly, don't fool yourself. I do have still have some in the cup, so I'll add a little bit more to these that just didn't get any, and I will still push over and even them out as much as possible. And I try to get it low so I can see where my problems are, see where I need to push more out from certain ones. We want them to be as even as possible. So if you know you have some that are looking way higher than the other ones, you shift that resin on over. Like this one right here is still filling in. And you have any that look low, you just go back through with your last bit of resin and you make sure that you get them all the same size. So here we go with some that are just a little bit too low. You come back and give them a little bit more. Not too much. You want to string it along a little bit. And just make sure you don't have any that are too low. And all that are too low, you bring them up. And it's okay if they run over a little bit because you want them higher than lower. Okay. And shift those a little bit. Okay. Okay. And I think we've got these just about where we want them. A little bit more pushover right here. But until they're before the resin starts to set in and do what it does naturally, it starts to self-level, you want to go ahead and do all the moving around you can. So that one can shift a little bit over. And you keep doing it. I hope you guys are learning a little bit because this was something that was very tricky for me at first. And it's okay if I don't have any resin for the jewelry mold because I would rather have enough in these than them be too small. So the main project gets the most. And if I don't have any left over, oh well. I'll just clean that powder out of that mold. Okay. And that's good right there. All of these look good. I don't have any that are too big. There's some that still can use some sliding. And so as you continue to eyeball, the resin is continuing to move. Okay, so it's continuing to settle. It's continuing to level. So you will need to focus in for a few minutes after you pour because it's still moving, and you're gonna have to move with it to make sure that all of your dominoes are the same size. So mostly all of these are looking pretty legit. And like I say, it's okay if it's over on the lines a little bit because they pop out pretty good and you can just clean them up pretty easy. So the last part of this is done. And I got just a little corner left in the cup. And it's enough corner for me to pour some in this jewelry mold. So let me just play with these a little bit more because, like I said, I like to make sure they're at least 99% the same size. Perfection isn't always guaranteed dealing with this resin because, like I said, as it settles, it moves. And so your last look at it, it might not look like that when you get back. It will still have moved and done something. So, and like I said, as long as I can definitely get it right at 100%, I will take it. So, if you guys can kind of see a little bit how they're filled in, they all look really just about even. This one can use a little bit, and if it looks like it needs a little bit, go ahead and give it a little bit. Go ahead and give it a little bit because that's not gonna change. That just means it's settled in and it needs a little bit more. So like I said, your last look might not be your last look because the resin is consistently and continuously going to move. So you just keep doing what you do. And I think I almost got this one done. Let's see. This one looks just a little bit. Just put a little over there. So everybody just really borrows a little bit from their neighbor. Yep. It's looking a little full. You borrow a little bit from your neighbor. And all of these, let's see. I need to do mine a little shift over right there. And maybe a little over here. Okay. And they are there. They're there. Um, this last little bit of resin in the cup, I am gonna put in a few of these molds, and I'm gonna put just a little drop right here, cause I don't want to shift anymore. And actually, I don't because some of this resin, I don't like to use the bottom of the barrel, because the bottom of the barrel might just have some stuff that didn't want to do what it do or didn't want to mix right. So once I've gotten to the bottom of the barrel, I'm not gonna worry about anything after that. I just keep shifting like this, and the bottom of the barrel goes into the jewelry mold because the jewelry pieces are not for sale. They will be well, at least for sale yet. They're for play right now until I figure out what I'm gonna do with them. I might put them in some extra, put them in a mold and put some resin on top of them or something like that. But I'm gonna do something with them. Alright, so I'm gonna pour this last little bit. Okay. I'm gonna pour this last little bit of the resin into the jewelry mold. And yeah, I know it's working because it's getting thick. Okay, I definitely put too much in there. Yeah, I definitely put too much in that first one. I'm gonna have to push some out. And so this little bottom of the barrel stuff, I only will scrape out the cup if it's something like this right here that I'm doing just the extra jewelry mold. Because like I said, this is usually the part of your resin that might not be at that 100% mixed. Because resin does what it does. But I will clean this off a little bit. Y'all can't see this, but I'm going to bring it over where you can see it. And so if it's too full of one of them, you just drag that resin over. Let it fall in the other one. Let it be great. Um, yeah, put a little of that over there. And so same procedure. What I'm doing is just sliding some of it over. If it's too full in one, I'm sliding it over to the next one. And just clean it off as much as possible. That one isn't really full, and I'm gonna have to be okay with that because I'm gonna take a little bit more out of there. As much as you can borrow from another piece, you just borrow a little bit. Resin is very forgiving, very move aroundable. That's a word. And you just move it around and make it work for you. That piece has just enough in it to maybe make a shape. Okay, so I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna lift the camera and show y'all this right here. Okay, so all right, got your um resin right there. Then I've got the jewelry pieces right here. And let me just, that's not working. Okay, that's just not working. Let me flip this around. Okay, okay, that's not working either. So I'm gonna flip it around, show it to y'all, and we'll be back.